what kind of island is this? Hello, and welcome to this special, extra special bonus episode of I Hate Your Movie.
Yay!
As two-time quiz champion, I got to pick a film for Dan to watch.
You're Quiz King.
I am Quiz King.
Quiz King.
And so last time we watched Little Nicky, which obviously Dan had heard of, and he hated it with a passion.
Mm-hmm.
And this time I picked a film that Dan hadn't heard of, but I knew he'd hate it so much. And it was a film called Serenity. Not the Joss Whedon one, which I'm not sure about Dan's feelings on, but I get the feeling he wouldn't like that too much either.
I do like it.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I watched it a long time ago.
Okay. But this is the Matthew McConaughey, Anne Hathaway starring train wreck.
Yeah.
That is Serenity.
Also, it's not the other 1,500 other movies that's called Serenity.
Is there more?
So many other movies come up before this. Serenity. It's crazy.
Also starring Jason Clarke and Jimon Hunsu. Some really good actors in there. Matthew McConaughey and Anne Hathaway, obviously in Interstellar.
Yeah.
The most pirated film of all time.
Yeah, Jason Clarke, I love him in a way where he has the Sam Worthington syndrome.
Yep.
Where for a few years he was in all the movies and then he was just not charismatic enough to keep doing that, you know. It's just not good enough. So Hollywood pushed him out for 5 years between 2013 and 18, and he was in all the movies. He was in Planet of the Apes. He was in loads of things.
He was recently in Oppenheimer.
Yeah, he was in Oppenheimer. He was asking Oppenheimer if he's a commie.
So my favourite thing in the world is to describe the plot of this film to people. I'm not going to do that because I feel like people need to take the journey with us on this one.
And you don't need to watch this film.
No, God, no. No.
It's not worth it.
No.
In fact, if you listen to this episode, you might learn more about this movie than watching it.
So, I mean, the main thing about the film, should we say there is a twist, do you think?
There is a big twist near the end.
Yeah, but it's a twist that, you know, M. Night Shyamalan in his worst LCD-induced fever dreams wouldn't have come up with.
Yeah, and there's other problems. It's not just the twist. Can I just say that I was very brash coming into this film. I was very cocky.
Yeah?
You can't take me down. You can't show me worse than Little Nicky. I've seen it all. I've seen Samurai Cop. I've seen Neil Breen films. I can confirm that you did cause pain in my frontal lobe. So congratulations.
I think we had some fun along the way though, mocking it. I mean, it's painful.
Yeah. It is probably one of the worst written movies we've seen.
So there's a few things that I don't understand. So I am going to challenge you now.
Yes.
To guess this film's rating on IMDb.
Ooh, I think I've seen it.
Yeah.
It's probably like middle.
It is 5.4.
Yeah.
People have actually rated this film highly. And I was reading through some of the critics' reviews, and actually I'm going to do that now. Let's have a quick look. Richard Roper from the Chicago Sun-Times. The spiritual angle in Serenity is just one of the many elements making it one of the most ambitious and one of the most challenging and one of the most entertaining thrillers in recent years.
I understand challenging, but not in a way he thinks.
I just don't get it. Like, there are people that genuinely like this film.
I have a feeling this is like one of those under the radar films. You know what I mean? Where just like it's flown under the radar enough that it managed to survive critically.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because like there's films that come out with like that cock and ball swinging, like look at me, blah blah, and then this one is
Madam
like,
Web.
Yeah, Madam Web. Yeah, look at Madam Web. Watch it. It's the best cinematic universe ever. This one was just like, yeah, whatever. And then the guy watched it. I was like, yeah, it was alright.
But I don't even know how you get to the point where like, yeah, it's alright. Like, how do people...
Money. I don't know. For a professional reviewer, I don't get it. A real person, I can get it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. I get it. It's like fake smart.
I think this is more of a commentary on your views on people.
Yeah, well, that's true. Are you gonna take us through the movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
The director and writer of this movie, sole writer-director credit, so he can't escape anywhere from our criticisms. In a weird cosmic coincidence, he was one of the 3 people who came up with Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Really?
Yeah. Which format we stole of for our quiz.
We're no better than him.
No. There's fishing happening.
Yeah, there is fishing happening. So
Yeah.
oh god, every piece of acting in this film is like odd.
It is, especially Matthew McConaughey. First of all, I think he gives like 90 to 100%, which is already weird for this film. It makes me think that he was just like that on the day. And it starts the movie looking unhinged. It looks unhinged throughout the whole movie.
The dialogue as well. So the reason I bring it up is because this film starts with Jimon Honsu. He just opens a door on the fishing boat and pokes his head out and is like, "The beast is close." What?
Yeah.
So the beast is close, and apparently that's a big tuna that Matthew McConaughey wants to catch.
That's all he cares about, yeah.
That's all he cares about. He's not a commercial fisherman. He takes like tourists out to go fishing. And then, so one...
Is that what he officially does, or is that just what he does later in the movie?
Well, that's how the film starts. There's the 2 guys at the start.
Oh, I didn't know they were like tourists, because they were just wearing dirty shirts.
Yeah. Well,
So I thought
they keep shouting at him like, "We paid you $700 for this. We paid you $700."
They didn't look like rich people who went out for a fishing adventure.
By the way, right, $700
Yeah.
for a half a day fishing excursion is a bit steep, I feel.
It's a big fish.
So yeah, Matthew McConaughey is completely deranged because the beast fish comes, and somehow they know it's the beast fish. Could you tell me why? I don't know.
It's a big one.
It's the big one. So Matthew McConaughey robs the fishing rod off the tourist. We paid money for this, and now you're robbing our catch. Is that a thing? I don't know. Is that like...
I don't think any of this is a thing. I refuse to believe any of this is true in any way, shape, or form.
And then there's this really... So they get the fish, and it's like you can see it like in the water.
Yeah.
Do they have nets? No.
Spears?
Spears? No.
That was the main thing I wrote down. I don't know fuck all about fishing. But surely, because they make a point to showcase that the rod is really struggling.
Yeah.
It's like really bending. Matthew McConaughey has to like really hold strong.
He has to tie it to his waist like some kind of phallic.
If it's that strong,
nonsense.
fucking spear it. They're spear guns.
Yep.
They work underwater as well.
Yeah. But they don't. They get it like close to the boat, and then Jimon Honsu gets like a big hook.
Yeah.
On a stick. Do they hold the rod like with the line and then do the hit thing at the same time? No. They just kind of let go, and then they try and catch it really quickly, and it gets away as the line snaps.
Great.
And that's how it starts.
Yeah.
Oh no, we forgot. That's why we were talking about Matthew McConaughey being deranged. Because he grabs the rod off the tourist, and the tourist is like, "Hey man, what are you doing?" So he pulls a knife on him.
Oh yeah.
He genuinely goes to stab this guy in the face.
Was it an acting choice, or was it him on the set? That's the big question.
It was that in the script.
What I told you during this movie as well is he doesn't look Hollywood deranged. He looks actually deranged. He looks like he's having a mental breakdown at any point in this movie, like an actual one. You know?
It's just good acting.
Yeah, sure.
He's like having this mental breakdown. I was like, what did my agent sign me up for?
Yeah, maybe that.
Fuck, is this nonsense? Do you reckon they filmed it out of sequence? And like they filmed that boat scene at the end of the filming. That was the last thing they did. And he was just like, "Give me my money.
Yeah.
I want my money. I don't want to leave."
Yeah, maybe.
The weird character turns up. So this scene happens.
Mr. Succession.
Jeremy Strong.
Jeremy Strong
turns up in a suit, and he's this weird guy. And again, why? I don't understand. He's standing on the beach, and he's trying to contact Matthew McConaughey, the boat's coming in and he takes his socks off
Mm-hmm.
and then waist deep into the ocean. Like, why? Do you think if you watch this film again?
No. I did not, yes. Just no.
Do you think if you watch this film again, things would make a little bit more sense building up to the twist?
Maybe a little bit, but I think mostly will be just rationalizations for the twist.
Yeah.
I'll talk about Jeremy Strong a little bit.
Oh god,
This
is
is
another section. Dan wants to talk about Succession.
Yeah, it's our famous segment. Dan wants to talk about Succession. Just quickly.
I'm gonna go make a cup of tea.
The contrast of him in Succession, genuinely, one of the best written and acted characters on TV ever.
Mm-hmm.
Very layered, super believable character. Not fully, but he did some method acting on set as well. He kind of stayed in character. Not like Jared Leto style, he ships dead rats. Not like that, but a normal way. Really realistic, grounded character. And in this one, it's like, excuse me, sir, he's like this one-dimensional cartoon character. It's really funny to watch and embarrassing for him.
Yeah. I mean, this film's embarrassing for everyone involved.
Well, yeah. He stood out because of that. Because I've always seen him being amazing.
So, what does the fisherman do after he's pulled a knife on his paying customers?
He pulls a dick into a woman. I don't know.
Becomes a prostitute. That's what he does. Obviously, he's a prostitute.
Yeah.
Goes to
Mark Kent.
Mark Kent. One of my favourite lines of this film is when she goes up to him and she's like, what's his name? Baker. Oh, Dill, you know better than a hooker. And he's like, yeah, a hooker that can't afford hooks. Wordplay.
What's his name? Dill Pickle?
Baking Dill. Baker Dill.
Baker Dill. And just to emphasize, kind of graphic.
I don't think it is here. Here you see the classic, like...
Butts and legs.
Yeah, the curtains are waving. It's like,
I think in contrast to
down.
what happens later in the twist, it's important to emphasize that it gets a bit graphic.
It does get
and in detail.
Unnecessarily graphic
Yeah.
and in detail.
I did what you asked me.
Yeah.
No research. No, I didn't even look at the poster or anything like that. At this point, I thought it was a romantic comedy.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was gonna be like Anne Hathaway comes and she's like the city girl,
Okay.
and
yeah.
he's like the rough farmer, and either Anne Hathaway shows him the city life, or he shows her the farm life or the fishing life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very convinced that was gonna happen. Or how wrong I was.
Yeah, I love how some movies just subvert your expectations, you know? They just take you on a journey, not to where you want to go.
And subverting expectations is the goal, right? You want to be surprised?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well.
No matter what the surprise is.
Visual storytelling. So you love visual storytelling. You praised After Sun for that. And I think this is very good for visual storytelling because he goes home and he's got his world's greatest dad mug.
Holds it awkwardly so they can read it on the screen at all times.
Puts it down square in front of the camera.
Yeah.
The world's greatest dad.
Yeah.
But where's his kid? Who knows? You know, it's
knows?
building like a mystery. It's a thriller. And that's it. That's the whole scene. That's everything that happens. It's just him living in a shack drinking out of a world's best dad mug.
Yeah.
It's important stuff.
One thing that kind of destroys the intimate moments of this film, the sex scenes, and then like people close up talking to each other, even that I imagine everything stinks of fish. So I don't know how does anyone get horny when everything is just stinks of fish. Matthew McConaughey probably just stinks so much of fish.
Matthew McConaughey in real life
Stinks of fish.
famously doesn't use deodorant. He just stinks on set.
Nice.
He doesn't shower too often either. Oh my god. I actually forgot about this next bit. So he's not doing very well financially and he needs to fire Jimon Honsu.
Oh yeah. Oh god.
How does he do that? I mean, they've been friends for a while. Does he sit him down and say to him, look, we're not doing too well. I can't afford another hand at the minute. You might be better off going elsewhere. Or does he stand on the back of the boat and be like, you bad luck, man. Ever since your wife died, we haven't caught anything. Do one.
What a great protagonist.
He actually says, ever since your wife died, we ain't caught shit. And that's the only time it's mentioned, by
Yeah.
the way, is this guy's backstory. He has no other backstory other than, like, oh, his wife died. And that's why he can't catch fish.
More likable protagonist.
Oh.
That's very superstitious and an asshole.
Literally throws it in his face. It was really horrible. Anne Hathaway comes in now.
Oh god, and the dialogue in this scene. Jesus Christ. And Hathaway, what is she doing? She's the only one who stuck out and not trying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt like the whole time she was going for this kind of like noir.
30s damsel in distress.
Yeah.
Thing. Yep. Or femme fatale.
Yeah. They're walking into a detective's office and the light goes just over her eyes and shit like that.
It was totally that.
But I don't think it's her fault. I think if you put her in the scenes that like we've just described, then it works. But it doesn't work if you're standing on a bright sandy beach being all like, oh, my husband's abusive.
Yeah, it starts out with her in the bar.
It's just awful. Where's my son, woman? Did they actually say her name? Her name's Karen. Does that come up at any point?
I don't know. But I don't think Matthew McConaughey says, where's my son? And that was my big point. So she's in distress because her husband is abusing her.
Yeah.
She had a previous relationship with Matthew McConaughey and they had a son. And the new husband is abusing the son as well.
Yeah. He's like, why are you here? And she's like, I'm here to tell you that you was right and I was wrong, Dill.
And then she offers $10 million to take out the new husband on a boat fishing trip to kill him. Why does she offer 10 million? Isn't the abuse an enough motivation? It's his fucking son. World's greatest dad. World's greatest.
You've got to earn that mug.
Yeah. Why is she offering 10 million? Why? It just confuses everything. It's his kid. By the way, there's money in it for you if you do it. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Don't do that.
Do you want to intro the son? I don't even know where to begin.
I mean, we just see like little insert shots of him playing a game at his computer.
Yeah, so, I mean, the main thing is Anne Hathaway is concerned about the son. All he does is sit and play video games all the time on his computer. And I think there's a shot where, like, he's playing on his computer and there's, like, shouting outside his door.
Yeah.
Because you only ever see his bedroom. And do you remember when he's got a blanket over him?
Yeah.
He's got a blanket over his head and over the computer screen that, like, builds a little fort. Because that, that blocks out all the sounds of abuse.
Yeah.
What I don't understand through this whole thing is why... Yeah, that's it.
Just why. End of episode. Why?
But, like, why is her main concern the fact that he sits and plays games? Like,
yeah, that's the thing. Priorities, woman.
Yeah.
First the abuse. Who cares about the game? They just wanted to introduce something very forcefully.
Yeah. It intros another weird thing as well, that how she found him. Do you remember how she found him? Because Baker Dill's not his real name.
Oh, his Facebook friend, and then they had a reunion.
Yeah, so they had a reunion and those two were the only ones not to go. She looked up on someone's Facebook in the background of a photo when they did a fishing trip.
Yeah.
A guy called Baker Dill, but his name's not Baker Dill, it's actually...
John Smith.
John Smith. So here's my question in all of that. At what point did he get this world's greatest dad mug?
Yeah.
Because it sounds to me like she had the baby and then he just fucked off.
I think he bought it for himself. It's like, I'm so good. I'm not around like my dad.
There's so much of this film, if you hold a microscope up to it, it just makes no sense. Magnifying glass.
Just look at it.
Just look at it with your eyes.
You should look at it with your eyes. Even eyes closed.
It's where it starts getting, like, odd.
This is where it starts.
This is where it starts getting odd.
Okay.
So he jumps in the ocean and he does, like, the Nirvana swim.
Oh, naked
Nirvana swim.
Shenanigans happen.
And then he's swimming along and he sees his son in the water and he swims down.
And the son is naked too.
Yeah, it's weird.
It is weird.
Yeah, because it's just a naked Matthew McConaughey swimming towards like a 14-year-old
naked
kid.
boy, yeah. And we were shouting, no, don't do it.
Don't touch him.
Stop it. Stop it now. It's supposed to be like this serene, like, nature and I don't know.
Nature and connection.
Connection and this new age connection idea.
Speaking of connection, it's like the next bit where Baker spills a glass of water on the desk.
Oh.
And then at the same time, the kid spills a glass of water on the desk. Connection.
They touch the water.
And they rub the water on the desk. And they have a connection.
Yeah.
Across space and time.
They try to make it work like when they say in movies, like, when you look up at the sky, you see the same moon as I do. But no, it's just water, and it's not connected.
When you look at water, I might be looking at water as well.
I'm filled with water, 75%. And you are filled with water, 75%. This is our connection.
This is our connection only we have.
Yeah,
no one else.
No one else. Matthew McConaughey, after fishing trips, he goes into a bar, and then he has like this little notepad, and he writes down, okay, so tuna caught 0. Other fish caught 0. Time this. Weather this. I was like, why is he so administrative about nothing? he got nothing, and he's really careful about all the details about anything that happened today. And it happens like twice.
Yeah.
It's so stupid.
Yeah, that never comes up.
Really was very funnily specific. Well, welcome to 1908, the
Plymouth Radio.
Plymouth Radio. Row. Matthew McConaughey, go catch that fish. I mean, your character's name, Baker Dale, Dale.
Direct quote. It's just like, it's a sunny day today. It's a good day to go catch that fish.
Yeah.
It's actually, it's 100% what it says. I think I said to you while we were watching it, it reminds me of basketball. But that's the thing about the island as well. Everybody knows everything about everyone all the time.
Yeah. Even the murder plot.
Yeah. So many times he goes into like the tackle shop and they're like, you had 2 sugars in your coffee last night. What's that about?
By the way, how's the murder going?
She's trouble, Dill. She's trouble. You don't spend time with her.
Why are you watching me, weirdo? I don't know when this happened. You might be able to help me. I wrote down, I've got a prescription for that ass.
That is next.
That is next?
That is next.
Okay. I don't know what it is.
What?
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
No.
Oh my god. It's another thing that just made 0 sense whatsoever. 0 sense. Absolute 0.
Is that a joke we made? Because I feel like...
Yeah, so would you like me to remind you?
Yeah, remind me.
About this film we watched very recently?
It wasn't that recent.
So the abusive husband shows up.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, and he's drunk.
Mm-hmm.
So he says to her, like, I've had a long flight, so take that robe off. So she gets naked and stands there, and he kind of, like, looks around, and he sits down on the bed behind her, puts his glasses on, and, like, really inspects her ass.
Yeah. I've got a prescription for that ass. That makes sense now.
And then he looks at her arm, and it's got, like, a cut on it.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, what's this? And she's like, oh, it's just a scratch. I guess the idea is that she's supposed to say completely perfect for him. That's kind of...
But then he beats her.
Exactly.
So she will get scars.
Exactly. The scene ends with him taking his belt off. But then...
It's not even abusive logic.
No.
It's not. It's this complete nonsense.
It's gibberish. And again, they try and play it as this kind of like really heavy thing that's happening. But you just don't care.
Yeah.
It's so poorly acted and terribly written that you're just like, what?
Yeah.
You end up questioning everything more than you care about the people.
It's a lot of tropes, but he used the wrong combination of tropes that kind of don't make sense with each other.
So obviously everyone on the island knows each other's business, and then in the next scene that someone's talking to Baker Dill. It's either the tackle shop lady or the barman, because that's the only other characters really. One of those two are talking to him, and there's a line in it that just makes, again, how do you write this and not question what you've written? It says to them, oh, he beat her for half an hour, but she never made a sound. Then how do you know? How do you know that? How do you know it was half an hour? It doesn't make sense.
Because everyone's looking inside the window.
Jacking off.
Yeah. Even without the twist, there's so many off-ramps where this movie could have gone all right. I've identified so many things where when you turn left, you should have taken a right.
This is where Matthew McConaughey like starts to take things personally, because Jason Clarke's on the back of the boat, talking about his stepson.
Yeah, but otherwise he didn't make the connection.
Yeah.
He didn't make the connection that he's abusing his son, but once he starts talking about it, he makes the connection.
Everything about this scene is designed to make you hate Jason Clarke. Just in case the domestic abuse wasn't enough, he has to also be a complete twat.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh yeah, there's girls down the docks that were taken in the ass for $10. Like, what kind of island is this?
Yeah, it didn't come across like an island that would have like a sex worker.
Like a brothel.
A brothel, yeah. It's like a rural island.
Yeah, it's just like a small fishing island that everyone knows each other.
I'm pretty sure most women on that island in real life would have mustaches and stuff like that. And just wouldn't, you know, they would just be working women, you know? He's a very mustache-twirling villain. Talking about mustaches. He's short of tying Anne Hathaway to train tracks and running away.
Running away in a giant mechanical spider. The Wild Wild West drink.
Okay.
I think that's the most mustachy twirling villain that has ever been in cinema.
I'm a pivotal scene.
So am I. This is the one. This is where Anne Hathaway goes to the boat.
Yeah. Oh my god. How do we set this up?
So again, it's supposed to be this kind of like dark noir. At this point, even like it is dark, and it's you know you do feel like the noirness a little bit more in this film than anything else. And then like an incredibly graphic sex scene breaks out in front of you.
Not just graphic, but like super awkward.
Yeah. I think this scene is probably the one that made Hollywood put in intimacy coordinators.
In this one, the intimacy coordinator was Matthew McConaughey.
It certainly wasn't Anne Hathaway. Bless her.
Yeah.
Okay, but before we get to that, I want to highlight a line in this film that made me go, what? Did you catch what she said?
No.
You know, she's talking about, oh, we were in college and blah, 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 or we were in high school, blah, blah, blah. And she says to him, we went to the bridge fishing and you said I was finally old enough.
I didn't catch that.
No?
No.
I was like, what?
I think there was so many awkward and weird things in that scene. I think I just missed it.
What's the implication there? That she says to him, you said I was finally old enough. Not that she was actually old enough, but that he said she was old enough. So what's the implication there?
Oh. Oh. Also, aren't they supposed to be the same age because they're the school reunion?
Yeah, right.
Like at least similar age. 1 year apart. Oh, you're finally 18 and I'm 18 and a half.
Yeah, so that little love affair spawned a child.
Yeah. Do you want to describe the sex scene?
Oh, God.
It has many beats. Not that it has many, like, positions at things that happen. It's just, it goes on and it gets interrupted and then it goes on and on.
I mean, first things first, it's, like, weirdly violent. Like, this woman's getting abused by her husband.
Yeah.
And he literally, like, throws her against a desk. Like, not in a sexy throw against it, in a violent, like, that's going to hurt your legs. And then he pulls up a skirt. I mean,
It's very quick and dirty, and it's inappropriate because she's being abused.
Yeah.
This kind of sex scene would be appropriate. It's like in the morning and we're having fun and that kind of stuff. But in this context, it's really disturbing and weird.
It just makes him as abusive.
Yeah, and he sees the scars and then he backs away. He just pulls down his trousers. You can see his Matthew McConaughey hairy ass. Thrusting.
Yeah, and then, like, I think he lifts her up and puts her on the couch.
Yeah.
And you genuinely, like, you see him take his trousers down, and then you see him adjusting himself.
Yeah.
Is this still simulated, or are they actually, like, fucking? I don't know.
I don't know. But it takes, like, 2 thrusts and he's done. You remember that?
Yeah.
It reminds me, have you ever seen pigeons? Fucking, it's so weird. There was one day I was in a park, and I don't know, I was bored or something. I was just watching pigeons court.
Okay.
And it's like they do this whole fucking song and dance. They twirl around each other, they flap their wings, they're clearly courting. And then the whole sex is just like, and then they fly away. And that's what it felt like.
And do you remember what he said when he gets up? He gets up, ties his trousers dirty and goes, and he says to her, that's it, I win.
I don't remember that. What the fuck? Quickest to come competition.
See, I didn't get that. I assumed that she was there to try and entice him with sex into doing what she wanted, and that he got close and was like, aha, I'm not going to fuck you. I win.
I think that was the idea that was supposed to happen, but I don't think that's what it come across as like. I think at this point I realized it's not a romantic comedy.
But it's at this point the skinny guy, the office nerd, catches up with Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
So Matthew McConaughey gets in at 2 a.m, and the salesman's waiting for him, and he wants to sell him
a fish finder.
A fish finder.
Oh God.
I knew it was to give Matthew McConaughey a fish finder. By the way, fish finder, is that a thing?
It was so cartoonish. He turned it on and there was like yeah, it was like Gallagher. And then you could see the little outlines, the little fish symbols, but there wasn't like a generic fish symbol. There were specific fish symbols, and you could see like a shark, and you could see other types of fish, little Gallagher symbols.
And you get the vibe he's trying to convince Matthew McConaughey not to do his murder plot.
Yes.
Because at this point he has agreed to do the murder plot. And he's like, no, you should catch the fish. You should stick to what, you want to do. And then he's like, I'm not following the rules. I am the rules. And he's like, what? No, you got to follow the rules. No, blah, blah, blah. And he pushes him up against the wall. And I think he stabs a knife in the wall. And he's like, what are you talking about? I'm talking about the game. And he looks at the map next to him, Plymouth. This is a game. It's all a game.
So everything that we've seen so far was inside the game.
You find out now Matthew McConaughey is a computer game character being played out by his son.
His real life son who's lost his dad.
Yes. So.
And he's in the same situation as he is in the game.
So the real life Baker Dill, or John Smith, died.
Yeah.
His wife remarried. And now she's in an abusive relationship. And to escape this, the kid, who's very good at computer games, has designed a fishing game in which he put his dead dad and his abused mother and his abusive father-in-law into the game.
Yes.
And he's made them fuck.
Yeah.
And he's made his dad a prostitute.
Yes.
And that's how he's dealing with it.
Yeah.
By the way,
very better balanced kid.
And there's some mini games you can play on this island.
Fuck the prostitute.
Fuck the prostitute. Really funny, like an edit of this film. It's like a GTA version. Like he fucks the prostitute and then beats her with a bat, steals the money back.
Well, I mean that's kind of my main criticism of this movie is that after all this, he needs a little convincing. But after all this, he goes back to play out the game. A fun version of that would have been to be like GTA, and I'm trying to break this. I'm trying to get out or something. But no, they have this incredibly stupid twist where all the characters, if you cared about the characters and all the people you cared about, they don't exist. It's in a stupid game that doesn't make sense, and you immediately don't care.
Like, you don't care about some NPC that's just...
There's a very similar twist. It's bad, so I don't mind spoiling it. It's a John Cusack film. It's called Identity.
Mm-hmm.
And it is like a murder mystery where 10 people go into like a hotel and they get picked out one by one. They die. And then at the end it turns out, oh, you're in the mind of a crazy guy.
Okay.
Great. Like, you immediately don't care, right? So what? But then they're not real.
But did you enjoy the ride? That's the main thing.
No. Because you're telling me I wasn't even on the ride. You know? Like, that's the idea.
My favourite bit about when he discovers that he's in a computer game, it's when he gets like the ever-increasing maps. So he gets his little map and he puts it on the desk, and it's like Plymouth Island and a little bit of water around it. Yeah. Then he gets another map, he wraps it out, and Plymouth Island's the same size, but because it's a bigger map, it's more water. And then I think it's a third one, and he goes out, and now Plymouth Island's really small and there's water all around.
Yeah, it suddenly turns into a Truman Show-esque thing. But it doesn't carry that all the way.
No, he keeps going up to people and asking them, are you real?
Yeah. Yeah. What are they gonna say?
Ah, shucks, you caught me.
The specific one that stands out to me is when he calls up the company.
Yeah.
to the guy, the glasses guy who gave him the fish finder, was like, can you tell me, is he real? I was like, whoever you're talking to is not real, you're an idiot. You're just an idiot. You're not getting the concept.
It's like going up to people and be like, are we in the Matrix? No, that's not how it works.
They take that concept just a little bit and then they completely reverse it because he goes back to everything that happened before anyway. he goes back to the plan.
Yeah.
It's boring. It's the most boring way to do this. I'm thinking if you want to do this twist, I think there's 2 ways to go about it that could be interesting. One is what I mentioned before, it's the GTA. You're trying to break it, you're trying to Truman Show it. The other way to do this story, if you do a double twist, which is what I would have done if I've given this script up until this point, and then I go, okay, double twist, he's crazy. That's why I thought for a bit, because he's acting mostly, because he looks genuinely unhinged, insane.
I love at this point they introduce a new character, Constance's son, that comes back from college.
Oh
And he's
my
like
god.
the young ginger kid.
Oh yeah, completely forgot.
Hey man, I'm here to help you catch a fish.
I think he's supposed to be I want to say the new codes that try to push him to the right direction.
Yeah, that's a weird thing as well. Like, the idea of the guy in the suit is that the game is trying to fight back.
Yeah.
It's like trying to make Baker Dill want to catch fish, 'cause that's what he's supposed to be doing. It's not how it works.
No.
'Cause at no point, like, if you install a mod onto a game, the original game doesn't rebel.
Yeah.
You know? Doesn't make sense.
I think maybe something like the kid was conflicted as well, putting conflicting code.
Maybe.
I don't.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I can think about.
Do you think, like, this kid in actual real life went back to his parents like, oh my god, I got this film with Anne Hathaway and Matthew McConaughey and Jimon Honsu. Oh my god, this is going to be my big break. Oh, you got to see it. It's going to be amazing. And then it just torched his career forever.
Yeah.
You gotta feel sorry for him, but sheesh.
He works in a Walmart now. As a cashier. All the clues were done. The clues were that, he feels a connection through water with his dad and he's making a fishing game.
Yeah.
Clues could have been, like, he goes to the tackle shop. It's like, I want to upgrade my equipment.
Okay, yeah.
There are things like that, you know? You go into a shop and it's like a digital shop.
Mm.
So you go in and then, I want this, and he just gets a little package and that's his new fishing rod. You know, like, have fun with it. Don't do this stupid bullshit. And then he goes back to the thing we care the least amount about, which is the husband murder plot.
So Jimon Honsu, in the plot of the film, he's paid $2,000 to a bunch of guys to kick the shit out of the husband.
Yeah.
So that he can't fish. And again, like, what kind of island is this?
Title. It's episode title. What kind of island is this?
Is it the guys next to the brothel
Yeah.
that you just pay money to and they go beat the shit out of some guy?
It's the dark district we never see.
And they actually break his hand. That's what he's paid him to do. He's paid him to break his hand.
Yeah.
Tell me how Anne Hathaway convinces Jason Clarke that he's good for fishing.
She says daddy a lot. Was that it?
Oh, God.
You're strong, daddy.
Oh.
Again, a kid programmed this game
Yeah.
about his real stepfather and real mother. And in the game, she calls the dad daddy.
Well, she
Is
calls the abusive guy dad.
Yeah, that's what I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the most fucked up kid ever.
Yeah. Forget the weird violent sex that he's programmed between his mum and dad. Forget the fact that he's put the abuse into the game and programmed it that way. This scene is the most awkward. This scene is the one where you're like, man, like, what's up with this kid? Because, yeah, she's like, oh, you big strong daddy. And then she lifts his hand up and puts it to her throat.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, squeeze the daddy. Oh my God. You're a big and strong daddy. I was like, "Huh?"
Is that a mini game as well?
Just furiously tapping triangle.
Yeah, yeah.
Choke, choke, choke.
Say daddy, say daddy. Press X to say daddy. Not counting the computer part, the computer simulation. The epic conclusion of this movie is taking out a real beat up guy who's suffering out to sea and trying to kill him.
He can't even stand.
He can't even stand.
Incredibly drunk.
Yeah. The only way it would be easier is to make him old or something, you know? Meanwhile, the score was very Hans Zimmerish, like ticking clock is like... It's like, wow, it's so exciting. They're trying to kill a really pitiful, beat up guy. So epic.
It's so epic. And I think just before he gets on the boat, the skinny guy turns up again and they have a quick chat about existence. Do you remember what he says?
No.
We are such stuff that dreams are made of. You know who the creator is.
Unfortunately, I do. Just before this, by the way, he goes on his Truman Show thing.
Mm-hmm.
He goes insane and he doesn't know what to do. And then the skinny guy shows up, is like, "You're supposed to do this. This is a compulsion to fish." And that's what convinces him as a sentient AI that he's supposed to do what he's done before anyway. It's just so weak. It's just nothing. He goes GTA and then the guy comes up to him, "Well, this is what you're supposed to do." And he does it. Great. I love it.
Yeah, there's a weird connection thing of he's like, oh, if my son wants me to kill the guy, then I'm going to kill the guy.
Yeah.
The game, mate. Like,
Yeah, it's a game and nothing matters.
Yeah.
Why?
I think if I was that character, I would get on the boat and I would just sail in a direction.
Yeah.
Pick a direction, pick north, and just go, see how far I get.
I'd go in the dark district and fuck all the
So from now on, there's like a dual happenings, exciting music. Bum 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 bum
Yeah.
bum 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 bum.
Will they manage to throw the helpless, beaten up guy?
Are they able to kill the newly disabled guy?
Yeah.
And also, at the same time, you see the real kid programming on his screen,
Yeah.
and he just turns to the right and just picks up this massive knife
Yeah.
in his sheath, and he's like, ooh. And then out of nowhere, the Constance's kid shows up on the boat, and he's like, hey guys, how you doing?
Yeah. By the way, yeah, the kid is programming the game in real time as the game is running.
Yep, that's how it works.
That's hard on your PC, man.
I think my favourite bit about this is the alibi.
Yeah.
Why, it's a game! Big Tuna comes and Jason Clarke wants the rod, and Matthew McConaughey turns to the kid and he's like, kid, you heard that right? The client has asked me to hand him control of the fishing rod.
Yeah, not suspicious at all.
You just write that down, can you?
Yeah.
If you can just record him saying that for future reference, I don't know why. But it's a game.
Yeah.
Why are you fucking bothered about an alibi?
Maybe that's the game. Maybe it's like a hitman. You're supposed to be sneaky about it.
Do you remember why they think they're going to get away with it? Do you remember, like, what, the police presence and all that kind of stuff? Do you remember any of that?
No, I don't.
It mentions it a couple of times. That no one's going to bother, like, investigating because the one policeman on the island is currently on holiday.
Wow.
That is true. That
Wow.
is actually a thing in the film.
Wow. He's on holiday in the dark district. He's still on the island.
And at the same time, the kid gets the knife. All you see is him, like, walk out of the bedroom door and they're screaming and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So he murders his stepfather.
Yeah, and music swells. Beautiful, serene music. Oh, murder finally happened. This movie is pro-murder. The Matthew McConaughey goes inland and calls up the kid.
Yep, they speak on a phone call.
Yeah, I don't know how that works in coding.
No. Does he phone the kid while he's in juvie or something?
Oh yeah, that was it as well.
Yeah.
What? I don't know. I guess the only way it makes sense is if the game also contains the kid, right?
Well, in the end, the kid programs the game so that he's in it as a child.
Yeah, it's the emotional speech between two NPCs. Also, my small experience and what I hear from other people experience with programming is that when you code, you make a lot of tiny mistakes, and then you have to keep testing it to make it work. What if he just, like, in the middle of this, like, at the end, he's like, accidentally deletes, like, Jason Clarke. I'm like, oh shit, where did he go? Oh fuck, I've got to find him in the code again. And
whole thing blue screens.
yeah, there's like 3 Anne Hathaway spawned for some reason.
Jimon Hansu's got 3 heads.
Yeah,
He's got 1 big head.
the boat falls through the world. Whee. That's more realistic.
He's just someone in the corner just walking into a wall over and over again. So happy ending.
So this phone call, I wrote down a pivotal line. I never write down lines, but this was so funny, I thought I'll write it down. So the emotional talk between father and son, who may or may not be digital. Sometimes we do bad things for good reasons. like murder.
Like murder.
That's my addition at the end. But
It's okay, you did good, son.
you did good. You murdered.
Sometimes people do bad things for good reasons.
He was abusive,
Yeah.
but it's not good for the son either, because he gets to go to juvie.
Well, he gets released from juvie.
He gets released, but he has to live with his conscience throughout his whole life with this. And the way it's made up is like, oh, well done, you scored a goal. You killed a person. And there's other ways to do this. It doesn't have to end with murder.
Because they're both murderers at this point. And that's the thing.
And they just rationalize it for each other.
Yeah, father-son murder duo.
Yeah.
Happy ending.
Happy ending. Oh, how wonderful.
Yeah, so like I said at the start of this, my favourite thing in the world is describing this plot. Matthew McConaughey is a fisherman. His ex-wife, Anne Hathaway, turns up and she wants Matthew McConaughey to kill her husband. But it actually turns out he's a computer game character in a simulation.
It's very first draft energy on the script.
It's just everything about it's bad. Like, it's badly written, it's badly directed, it's badly acted,
it's weirdly acted. They do give a performance. I just don't know if it fits the movie.
Everything about it is just awful. But we had fun.
Did we?
I had fun.
Okay. I know I had fun as well. We're chatting throughout it. So 2019.
2019.
I can't believe movies like this still happen in 2019. Like Identity, the one I said is similar to, happened in like 2001. And I thought people make fun of that movie because of that stupid twist as well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you very much.
Yes.
There's no more quiz. No more quiz.
Stay tuned for Return of the Quiz Volume 3.
Never again. What are we doing next time?
I reckon we should do Blind Bag of Doom. Keep those patrons.
Yeah.
The fuck is Adam Eternals?
Oh, that's it. The Eternals.
Oh, okay.
Adam is the guy who recommended it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, because to shout out the names. Are you gonna watch the Eternals?
Yay!
Boo!
I enjoyed the Eternals.
It looks like fucking most boring movie ever made.
It's the first Marvel movie to have a sex scene in it.
Great.
It's not as bad as Serenity.
Kumail Nanjiani, don't rip off Angelina Jolie's shirt and skirt. And I remember the trailer. I remember it's just people standing in front of pretty backdrops.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I remember. And it's mostly, even the prettiness is mostly like just a desert or something.
Yeah.
And that's what I remember.
I think this is a film that could have been incredible if it didn't come out at the time where Marvel was just throwing out shit for fun.
Mm.
You know, if the director of this film, writer-director, actually had the time to spend on it properly, then it would be, good. And ultimately, like I say, it's at a time, COVID-y type stuff. Companies were struggling, and it was very much a case of make it quick, get it out. Mm-hmm. And that's why, famously, Scott Derrickson left Doctor Strange. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I think there's a lot of parts of this that are interesting.
You don't know a fun fact that I know about this movie?
Yeah.
In the original Eternals comic, there's the Black Knight character.
Mm-hmm.
And that character and the Eternals comics influenced George R.R. Martin.
Oh, really?
To write Game of Thrones. And who portrays the Black Knight in the Eternals movie? Kit Harington. There's kind of like a weird cyclical, self-referencing line.
Although he hasn't become it yet.
No?
I mean, that's the post-credits reveal of the film.
Whoops. I just know things. I don't.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Adam, for contributing and being part of our journey. I'm going to watch Eternals. I'm excited to see it. I am excited with the arguments I'm going to have with Dan about how much he hated it and how much I enjoy it. It has its flaws. It has one giant flaw.
Okay.
Which is the ending.
Okay.
But we'll get to it.
Okay.
Maybe you'll like it. It's definitely different.
Okay. I'll keep a short mind and I'll hate it anyway.
Cool. Well, thank you very much for listening.
Thank you.
Remember to catch that fish.
Go catch that fish, bro.
Big strong daddy.